Hey everybody, welcome to This Week in 1984, where the only thought crime is having too much fun. And please do not have too much fun. You will be disappeared for having too much fun. But we are having exactly the right amount of fun this week in 1984. I am your host, coming to you from the beautiful year of 1984. And I've got my good friend, Benjamin Sulzer here.
Hey!
Ben, how's it feel to be in 1984?
Feels fabulous.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
And speaking of fabulous, we have our third co-host that you are going to introduce right now, Ben.
It's true. Speaking of fabulous, Jake Menzel. How you doing, Jake?
I'm all right. How are you, Ben?
Oh, I'm all right as well. In a fabulous way.
Guys,
So you're gay.
Everyone's gay here in 1984.
Trying to read between the lines.
We don't need to read between the lines in 1984, Jake.
Right, there are no
we just
lines.
have the lines.
Yeah.
Gay means happy. Fabulous means fabulous.
Well,
Slavery is freedom.
Ignorance is strength. And speaking of strength, we've got a strong lead-in for our show today. Isn't that right, fellas? We're going to come at you with some pop culture and entertainment news to start things off today. What is happening in the world of entertainment and culture, gentlemen?
Well, the British government has admitted to paying social media influencers and reality stars to promote its NHS test and trace system. And that's a great thing because, I mean, we have to use every means possible to keep the public informed during the COVID pandemic.
Absolutely. We got to get the word out. I believe we have failed in Britain to reach our 80% target for the 9th week in a row. That's what
Got to pay the social media influencers to adopt the government message.
Now, how much would it cost? How cheap is it to hire a social media expert or influencer on average?
Somewhere between £5,000 and £10,000 an ad.
Now, Ben, isn't it great that if you were in Britain right now, your hard-earned tax money would be going to pay a social media influencer to get some great COVID information out there?
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy to give my tax money to any cause the government thinks is necessary.
Well, personally, I'm happy that I'm an American because in America, instead of paying social media influencers, we just pay Tom Hanks.
We just pay Tom Hanks. That is one of the best things that we do in America.
Yeah. It's just like when The Simpsons unironically endorsed Tom Hanks, what he's doing right now, helping lend the U.S. government some credibility.
Yes, that is.
In a famously unfunny segment of The Simpsons.
Yes, well, The Simpsons are never funny and never prescient, and of course, one of the most unfunny and unprescient things that they ever did was in the Simpsons movie where they had to put over some propaganda, and so they hired Tom Hanks, and he came in and said the famous quote, "The U.S. government has lost its credibility, so it's borrowing some of mine." But that's nothing like what's happening now, where the Biden administration has gotten Tom Hanks to do a video promoting a recovering, resilient America. The America we all live in today, right, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Tom Hanks probably came up with that video and sold it to the Biden administration.
Sold it. Probably he did it for free.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, he is the
He's a
Mr. Rogers of our time.
Yeah.
Man,
He literally played Mr. Rogers, Ben.
he did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, listen, it's a great video. It's 2 minutes of showing hardworking people and store shelves stocked and all the wonderful things that are happening, the economy booming, inflation going down, that kind of stuff.
I mean, under President Biden, we have the most fast exploding economy in the history of the United States of America.
Yeah. Fast exploding. Now, almost as good as our government, gentlemen, is the government of China. What's been going on there?
Well, in some ways, I think they're a little ahead of us. We're like a model for imitation. But they recently changed the ending of Fight Club to make it a better film.
Yeah, well, the Chinese government only allows so many films and only the best films.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then
Fight Club.
And then goes out of its way to be sure those films are improved.
Well, Fight Club, of course, has a juicy, subversive kind of message, at least the original version, something that might cause people to mistrust certain organizations or institutional power or...
But the Chinese government fixed that.
And how did they fix that, Jake?
Well, the movie ends traditionally with a bunch of with the traditional ending of Fight Club. We've got the traditional ending.
Right. When we all gather around the Christmas tree and Dad reads us Fight Club.
Well, it ends. The movie ends when Tyler Durden ends up blowing up a bunch of buildings. Right.
Pulls off a
great big anarchist stunt to take down the man.
Right.
But instead of that happening, cut to black, and a message appears on screen telling us how the movie actually ended. And the movie actually ends like this. Quote, "The police rapidly figured out the whole plan and arrested all criminals, successfully preventing the bomb from exploding."
Man, it's so artistically expressed. I mean, that's the first thing I want to point out about that.
Well, I don't know how you could capture a police force with that much strength, devotion, and efficiency on the screen.
Right. You just need text.
You just need to leave it to people's imaginations.
Right.
Unfortunately, I don't think our police forces here are quite as good as that. But in China, they have it all around them. Nope. Why do you need to film it again, and how could you?
They rapidly figured out the whole plan, arrested all criminals, and successfully prevented the bomb from exploding. Thank you, Chinese police. And thank you, and you're welcome, David Fincher. I'm sure he's excited that someone finally took his turkey of a movie and carved it up into a delicious meal, like Thanksgiving. He's probably giving Thanksgiving right now for the new Fight Club and how excited he is about it. Guys, all this talking is giving me some hankering for a delicious chocolate treat. Maybe I could go for some M&Ms, but man, they have some retrograde views, the M&Ms.
Nathan, you can't be talking about the M&M that wears heels, can you?
Yeah, it is a disgusting, sexist trope. Every time I break open a bag of M&Ms, I shiver with disgust. How can I be eating this? What am I? A sexist, a homophobe, a racist? Like, what am I doing eating these M&Ms?
You don't have to worry anymore, Nathan.
What?
The Mars Candy Company has decided that they need a fresh, modern take on the looks of their beloved characters and more nuanced personalities to underscore the importance of self-expression and power of community through storytelling, and that is a direct quote.
Man.
And so you can look forward to all the cast of characters, all those little M&Ms, being more inclusive and more
self-expressive and powerful in a communal
and certainly
way.
More nuanced.
And they'll be getting their storytelling correct, because that's what we look for is in the candy is storytelling.
Right.
I've relied on M&Ms for that for so long. I don't know where I'd be if they didn't make the story better.
Yeah.
There is something that I need to point out.
Yeah.
Not everybody's happy about this.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw something in Rolling Stone about this. One of their great opinion pieces.
Yeah, one of their great opinion pieces. Rolling Stone is concerned about actually taking the sexy green M&M.
Oh, because some women like to be sexy.
Yeah, and so it's sort of like, and this is their phrase, not mine, but it's sort of like slut-shaming.
Oh, Jake, I'm sorry that you even had to say that word, but we don't like to say the word shame on this podcast. But, wow, you make a good point. I don't know which direction to go now.
Maybe there could be a Rolling Stone M&M to help everyone be included.
Maybe they could just include a stone.
And it could have an angry face on it. And that could be its personality.
And maybe it could be big to contain the giant brain that comes up with these kind of articles that are in Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
Not
totally.
Not SSing. I don't really want to say either word.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Not SLUTSHAMING. Yeah, I don't know. It's controversial. So do I like the? Because here's the thing. The green M&M used to wear heels. Now she wears sneakers. And that is, in fact, the fresh modern take on the look of the beloved character and more nuanced personality to underscore the importance of self-expression and power of community through storytelling, is that the green M&M is wearing sneakers.
Sneakers.
Yeah.
The power of community.
The power of community. The power of storytelling.
Sneakers.
The power of community. The power of storytelling.
One more time.
Sneakers.
We're gonna summon the green M&M. No. Listen, guys. Speaking of M&Ms, you know who likes to eat M&Ms? Kids.
That's right. They do.
I see where you're going with this.
But you know what we have to do? According to Melissa Harris Perry, a commentator on MSNBC,
Yes.
we have to break through this idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families.
Right. Well, it takes a village. That's what I always say.
Yeah. And so this is, obviously, that was a direct quote. We have to break through this idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families. And what we obviously have to do is create this sense that kids don't belong to anybody. Kids belong to the community as a whole.
Right.
They're not your kids. They're our kids.
They really belong to the government, if you think about it. Mm-hmm. If you think about it. Well, that moves us nicely into education, news, and the thing is, obviously we all agree, kids belong to the village. They belong to the community. They belong to the government. But some parents want to exercise control over what their kids learn in school.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
Well, I agree with NBC News, this news piece that says conservative activists who want schools to post lesson plans online. Conservative advocate. Let me say the words. Conservative activists want schools to post lesson plans online. So, they're conservative activists, not concerned parents. They just want the schools to post lesson plans online. But free speech advocates warn such policies could lead to more censorship in K-12 schools. And the one thing we don't want is censorship.
Well, as the director of free expression and education at PEN America said, John Friedman, it's important we call this out. It's a shift toward more neutral-sounding language, but it's something that is potentially just as censorious. The bill has drawn criticism from Democrats, including State Representative Maggie Nuremberg, who called the proposal an attempt to undermine public education. It ties the hands of educators, she said. That's a direct quote. This is absolutely just an easy tool to censor anything controversial.
Far be it from parents to be concerned about their kids being exposed to anything that is controversial or anything that they don't like.
Especially with all the stories out there of public schools promoting great books about LGBT awareness and about sex between minors. And
our 5 and 6 year olds need the ability to
discover their own sexuality. Yeah.
And bottom line,
parents just get in the way of that sort of thing.
Exactly.
I think there's one word Jake said that's most important, and that word is our. Mm-hmm. Our kids, because these are all our kids, ours, and they're not.
No parent has the right.
They're not It's not like these parents treat their kids like property. Honestly, my kids, me, my. No,
selfish,
our.
Yep.
Our kids.
Yeah, and we'll make this decision together.
Yes, we're making a decision better. Could we get Tom Hanks on this podcast?
We're making a decision together without you.
Right. Exactly. Well, we wouldn't want the parents getting in the way.
They're not really parents; they're conservative activists.
If you don't want to be together with us, then you're not together. You just don't have it together.
You're fringe.
Yeah,
really.
Thanks for breeding. By the way, ever hear of a little thing called overpopulation, guys? Speaking of overpopulation, there's lots of the populace that is engaging in health. So
engaging in health.
Yes. People like to be healthy. Have you noticed that, guys?
Or do they?
Well, yeah.
I mean, there's a patient in Boston who's a father of 2. He's 31 years old there's 31 years old line. he's 31 years old, and on the one hand he wants a heart transplant, but on the other hand he's not vaccinated. Does he even want to live?
Well,
he doesn't want to live with us. He's not together with us. He's not in with us.
Right. So, thankfully, the hospital just simply removed him from the heart transplant list.
Well, do people that don't get vaccinated even have hearts? That's what I want to ask. Am I right, guys?
Oh, Nathan, you are hard.
I'll tell you who does have hearts, though, gentlemen. Quebec. The great state of Quebec. Because they have announced that the unvaxxed are not
Nathan,
allowed...
Could you not say the U word just so freely?
I'm sorry.
It's just a little too much.
What should I say instead?
It's getting to me.
Quebec has announced
The
that
UV,
I'll just call them the dirty monsters. Okay.
Thank you.
Quebec has announced that the dirty monsters are not allowed inside of large stores unless accompanied by a health warden that will monitor them. So they do not purchase anything except for food and medicine.
I feel like the dirty monsters here in the United States still they buy toys and stuff.
Yeah.
And
They
other
shouldn't
products.
be allowed anything else but food or medicine, and certainly not a heart transplant.
Right, some medicine.
Well,
If they want to get their aspirin or something, I suppose.
Yeah.
What they're also not allowed is in the United States any access to monoclonal antibodies anymore. So,
We needed to
Good.
close those sites, and the FDA has removed authorization for monoclonal antibody treatments, which
There's no hard evidence that worked. So,
and no hard evidence that it didn't work.
yeah, and it's important when things are ambiguous that you destroy them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Florida's not too happy about it, though.
Why would they be? They're like,
They had centers with monoclonal antibody treatments.
yeah. I
And
mean,
they're really conservative. And frankly speaking, there's a lot of dirty monsters in Florida.
yeah. So, I mean, I kind of like this move because if there's a chance that monoclonal antibodies are actually helping people, as many anecdotal reports and some evidence seems to suggest, the last thing we want is to provide people who are, especially those who are not vaccinated, the opportunity to get better.
Right. Especially, that would make Florida look pretty good.
That would make Florida look good, and what we need is Florida to look bad.
Right. And it's worth killing some people
we
to do
look
that.
good.
They started it.
Yeah.
They've been making us look bad. And by us, I mean U.S.
Yeah.
As in USA.
Ussa, as I like to pronounce it. Well, guys, speaking of dirty monsters, they're not just in Florida. They're everywhere. Let's talk about Dr. Meryl J. Nass.
Yep. She has been suspended
Good.
by the Maine Board of Licensure and must submit to a psych evaluation because she questioned the mainstream COVID narrative and spread misinformation by prescribing ivermectin to some of her patients.
Horse dewormers.
Yeah, horse dewormer.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely not a super cheap drug that is widely has a wide variety of uses, and that definitely got the Nobel Peace Prize for its wide array of uses, and has been demonstrated clinically to reduce viral load of COVID.
And is safe, whether it works on COVID or not.
Whether it works or not is completely safe. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to be a dirty monster to, what's the word? I lost the word, to give that to someone, to prescribe that
There we go.
Yeah.
to someone.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry that you have COVID. You should have been vaxxed.
Yeah. This woman questioned mainstream COVID wisdom, and she deserves to be defrocked, whatever the doctor version of that is.
She needs to be subjected to a psych evaluation, honestly.
Yeah, well, cuckoo.
Yep.
Thankfully, she's going to be.
Well, speaking of cuckoo, the word cuckoo starts with a C. And I'll tell you another thing that starts with a C. Canada, our great neighbors to the north. Everyone's favorite country.
Yeah. So we've been in and out of Canada throughout our little time in 1984 here. And so we're going to end there. President Justin Trudeau
My
has
hero.
called out a fringe minority of somewhere between 50,000 and 1.4 million people who are opposed to vaccine mandates. We don't know how many there actually are. There are varying reports. Some say
10,000 trucks.
10,000 trucks. Some say 50,000 trucks. Some say 50,000 truckers. Some say, like a Fox News report, 1.4 million people. All in one way or another on some sort of convoy to the capital, to Parliament in Ottawa to protest vaccine mandates. We can't possibly know how many people there are because the media is doing a really great job of blacking it out for us.
Woo! Go media!
Yeah. And thankfully, they're not going to be able to fund their dumb. I mean, should we just call it an insurrection, guys? I mean, come on. Can we just call it what
I mean,
it
that's
is? Can we
basically
be
what it
honest?
is.
If we can't be honest in 1984, where can we be honest?
Yeah.
So thankfully, they blocked the GoFundMe page. It lost like $4 million.
Yeah, they have $4 million that they raised, this fringe minority, in order to make this happen. But GoFundMe has suspended their page, so they don't have access to any of that money that
Truckers.
they've raised.
More
Stupid
like
truckers.
suckers.
Yeah, President Trudeau, more like President Cool Bro. Don't you guys love that guy?
Oh,
He's
man.
awesome.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
He is awesome. And it is awesome to live in 1984. So many exciting things happening in entertainment, in culture, in education, in food like M&Ms, in health news. It's a great, I dare say, a brave new world that we live in.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time we have, folks. I hope you enjoy your life in 1984. Maybe we'll be back with some news, or maybe our podcast will be memory hold and we will all disappear and you won't know where we went. A lot of things can happen.
But don't worry. If that happens, you won't even remember we ever existed.
That's absolutely right. All trace of us will be removed. Thank goodness. And thank you for listening. Support this podcast at patreon.com/Sound of Sanity until they shut off our funds. Until next time.
Stay sane.